This gives you a chance to glance at one of the topics that I was doing research for that I didn't think was quite good enough to make a video, but it does make for an interesting story in the context that we're focusing on today. The video I was starting to kind of flesh out was going to focus on the idea if YouTubers and celebrities are actually responsible for their audiences. Now, in the YouTube context, it might seem a little bit vague, but some YouTubers have the attention of people for about 5 to 10 years, and people are pretty impressionable, as you can probably tell looking at the news today. And if you don't believe that people are impressionable, how do you think that cults recruit people? Come on. We're very impressionable. YouTubers and celebrities create and foster a culture in a specific environment that perpetuates and allows for certain behaviors, and they also reward their audiences in some type of weird, creepy way with what type of comments that they respond to and what they find funny on their channels or their social media platforms. This very thing, sprinkled with a little bit of the algorithm, has the ability to actually change people. And if you don't get what I'm trying to say, go ahead and watch my video about the algorithm. This might seem like a generalization, but compare the people that grew up watching iDubbbz on average versus the people that watched Swoozie growing up on average. Two drastically different people, right? One group of people probably believes that white privilege is actually just majority privilege, and I'm not going to say which group of people probably believe that. Just take a guess who you might think. Take a guess.
Is that white privilege or is that like majority privilege? Is the same true? You go to China, you're Chinese. It's the same true if you're Chinese?
And this is partially because of the videos that they create, the opinions that they broadcast to the public, and they all attract a certain personality type. And if you don't believe me, just go ahead and read the comment sections of their videos or just watch videos that people make about them. You'll see that they're drastically different. I was going to dive deep into this video topic, but so many people have already done a great job covering it, Psych IRL, and one of the people was Bobby Burns. And in doing my research for the video, I saw Bobby Burns' video, and it reminded me that Bobby Burns existed. Do you remember Bobby Burns? Did you watch Bobby Burns? Honestly, I don't even know where to begin to explain Bobby Burns to a person that has never heard of Bobby Burns. But Bobby now has the reputation of being the YouTuber that Shane Dawson absolutely ruined. And in fact, I'm probably going to use that as the title of the video because I know people will click on it. However, I'm not one of the people that actually believe that it was Shane's fault. I mean, Shane did have the ability to help and didn't, but I see this situation as Shane digging a grave and Bobby willingly walking and laying into the grave. Let me give you some background on Bobby Burns. Bobby was one of those YouTubers that was just really good at making videos and articulating his thoughts and opinions to other people. I'd like to say we're very similar, mostly because what Bobby was actually interested in was hard to make videos about because other people just weren't into that type of stuff. Bobby pretty much dipped his finger into every genre on YouTube, and it seemed like he just liked making content that people enjoyed to watch, which is both a good and a bad thing. It's a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword because 12 years ago, he was making Lego animations. 2 years ago, he was doing movie reviews, and then he transitioned into commentary YouTube. You can imagine the audience overlap is not drastic in those situations, so he never really was able to capture a consistent fan base. But he did in fact really find his groove in commentary YouTube. Kinda similar to your boy. But he did get more specific and targeted. His niche, if you can even call it that, was really focusing on YouTube culture. So instead of focusing on the drama that was ensuing on YouTube, he would focus on the culture that the drama created. I don't know how to really explain it. This made his videos pair great with existing videos because no one really took the angle that Bobby took. But unlike the drama videos, they could stand the test of time because it almost was like a time capsule of the situation. Content like this typically has a slow but steady career. Are the videos viral? No, not by any means, but they're good videos. An example of someone like this in today's YouTube world would be Tiffany Ferg. Her videos are not what the algorithm's asking for, but they can stand the test of time. Most of commentary YouTube is extremely time sensitive. There's trends, and you have to follow the trends in order to grow and sustain a following. Even in the commentary YouTube genre, comedy is trendy, you know? Like, there's a type of joke that is funny within the time, and 2 years from now, that joke is no longer funny. And content like that I used to watch the fuck out of, and you might be able to see some of that on my channel, and then you might see it shine through on my channel now with the videos that I'm currently making. And one of the YouTubers that made content like this, as I said earlier, was Bobby Burns. So I used to watch his channel a lot, and I don't imagine that all of you did as well, because a lot of his videos didn't have amazing view numbers, but they were good, they were solid. He was a YouTuber that was progressing. So I want to go over one of the videos that he made, some of his thoughts on that video, so you can get a better understanding of him as a YouTuber. But first, roll my intro. You thought I forgot? I mean, it's a late intro roll, but roll it anyway.
Actually doing this. I guess I should just come out and say it. YouTubers manipulate their audiences constantly, and most of the time the audience doesn't even know they're being manipulated.
The video I stumbled upon and discovered while doing research on that topic that I was talking about earlier was how to emotionally manipulate your audience. And Bobby taught just that. And you cannot get a better YouTube title than that one. And that's exactly why the video has 1.3 million views, which is one of the largest view counts on his channel. It was also just an all-around good video. He brings up a great conversation that we need to have on the societal level, but really focuses in on YouTubers. Content creators and celebrities are getting really good at pulling the heartstrings of the audiences that follow them without letting the audiences know that that's actually what's going on. Because we aren't trained to notice it through the camera. Heck, Deji convinced a large amount of people that he was sick with that virus you can't say on YouTube, but he was 100% lying for clout.
Hey guys, it's Deji. I'm making this video not to alarm you or worry you, but I'm not sure if I have COVID-19.
It gets even harder to tell what is genuine when you realize there's a literal wall between their emotions and the video that is created. The very act of setting up a camera, setting up lights, getting dressed, editing the video makes it impossible to transfer that genuine raw emotion to the viewer on the other side of the camera. So you have to rely on gimmicks because you're so far removed from the situation that would make you feel emotional. When you make an apology video, at the end of the day, you still need to make a good YouTube video to get people to watch and listen to the words you're going to say. So that means you have to prep the video the same way that you would prep any other video. There are tons of examples of people using this performance art maliciously, but for the most part, there's this gray area that this very topic creates. It's the people that aren't necessarily malicious, but need to make sure that their emotions are portrayed correctly and make sure that you do take their side and ultimately understand where they're coming from. They plan the video out so much that to the trained eye, they no longer feel genuine because you know how much effort that they put in before the video. And some people like to lean into this very spectacle because they know it's impossible to portray emotions through a YouTube video. A top of mind example of this concept that I'm talking about is Eugene's coming out the closet video, mostly because he leaned into the idea that you can't say something like this in a YouTube video. You have to go over the top, you have to go all out and let the art transfer the emotion for you. typical YouTuber typically writes a script or an outline, gets dressed, turns on the lighting, checks the lighting, turns on the camera, records, re-records because the first take always sucks. This is the literal third take of this clip that I'm recording now. Edits, creates a thumbnail, and then finally sends it off to YouTube. The raw emotion that you started with by the time the video is completely done has been more processed than a can of string beans. Can't believe I actually wrote that. Someone fire the script writer. I guess that's me. So I'm firing myself. Bobby then points out some common tropes that are routinely used in these YouTube videos that he's discussing.
The format change. Now, this isn't a thing that always happens, but a lot of times when someone's doing a video like this, they break what their normal format is. They either record their video on their phone or on their webcam. If the YouTuber you watch normally makes really excited, happy daily vlogs, and then suddenly out of nowhere, it's like this sad, ultra close-up.
Consider the fact that you might be being manipulated.
Avoiding eye contact. Now, normally a YouTuber looks right into the lens whenever they're talking to the camera because it's supposed to feel like they're speaking to you. In these videos, they do not want to look at the camera. They want to look everywhere else.
Oh, God.
And let's not forget the patented YouTuber sigh when you could have just edited it out. It doesn't need to be there. The list that Bobby made was so precise and exact that literally every single point was in Logan Paul's apology video. Almost like he saw Bobby's video and was like, oh, this is how I make a good apology video. So, of course, Bobby had to make a follow-up. I guess I'll let Bobby try and explain that point to you, because he did it best, but watch his full video and you'll get a full understanding if this clip doesn't explain it.
First off, I'd like to say that just because someone is manipulating something, that does not mean that that manipulation is inherently negative. I'm manipulating this chair. Look at that. I'm manipulating it. Actually, you know what? Let's look up the definition of manipulation. Manipulation is defined as the action of manipulating something in a skillful manner.
In his videos, Bobby showed that he had a brain that allowed for some liminal thinking, and he was able to articulate a unique viewpoint that people appreciated. The point he was trying to make is that without manipulation, there's a lot of things that you cannot do in this world. And one thing, the literal premise of art is the artist wants to manipulate you into feeling a specific way. Now, I bring up that specific video of Bobby's because I think people should ultimately be aware that sometimes they're being manipulated, and the very skills that make people good at YouTube and knowing how to pull these emotional heartstrings, there's a very specific person or type of person that would be good at that. Sociopath. Sociopaths would be good at that. And if you ever wondered why YouTubers are very good at behaving as if they're sociopaths, that would be why. They're literally routinely flexing that sociopathic muscle. Same thing with politicians. I don't know why we let these people run the world.
Dude, I'm just here to say, you literally make videos too. So are you talking about yourself?
Listen. Shut up, Will. But anyway, that whole section is say that Bobby had a great way of broadcasting his opinions, and he had some things to say that were actually valuable and worthwhile to society. But speaking of sociopaths, I guess I should talk about that part with Shane Dawson, which is the reason this video exists in the first place. So, yeah, go to the next part now, Will. Bobby made a video about Shane Dawson, the conspiracy theorist, and he broadcasted the fact that he thought that Shane Dawson's content was terrible.
Not being honest and making terrible content.
Hey, what's up, you guys?
A fact that, for some reason, everyone seems to forget about Shane Dawson is the fact that he used blackface. Like a lot. I don't think you guys are getting this enough. Blackface. Blackface. This person, blackface.
His fans also articulated the same thought. He discussed that Shane would make a statement without discussing that it was a theory hard enough, which led to ripple effects on the internet and people's belief structures, because they believed anything that Shane Dawson said. Now, this actually circles back to the topic that I was talking about earlier today with how responsible YouTubers are for their audience. But Bobby's videos seemed like it was actually just for the clout of it all, because he actually admitted to the fact that he was a huge Shane Dawson fan.
But you said my content was terrible.
That specific content.
You said all my content.
I didn't say all.
But you may be thinking, Will, why is this important? And you're right to ask that question, because nothing is ever important. Mildly depressing, but I'll continue on. Now, it's actually important because at the time, Bobby's opinion of Shane was rare. He was still YouTube's golden boy, his golden child. So if you hated Shane Dawson, you were seen as a negative Nancy, or you didn't like YouTube or something like that. So if you are willing to go against the grain, you better be sure that you're able to stay with that opinion for a long period of time, or you will forever be labeled a flip-flopper, and it will be hard to recover from. At this time period, Shane Dawson was actually doing a great job at turning negative press into positive press. So when this happened, and it stumbled upon Shane Dawson's lap, what do you think that he did? Turned this whole situation into that sweet, sweet content, baby. Shane made a video series titled Confronting My Hater. I'm not good at editing, so I'm probably not going to be able to do that. Just imagine that I did that. Anyway, in Shane Dawson's series, he pretended to be the bigger person. I mean, not that much of a bigger person, considering he's still labeled Bobby Burns as a hater for clicks. But on the bright side, he did buy him a car, and it was a Jeep, so he spent a lot of money on that. He also offered Bobby a job in LA.
All right, now, because you're moving to LA,
Okay.
and because you're gonna be rolling with me,
Uh-huh.
I want you to be rolling like me.
Okay. What? Wait, what? Wait, what? What? Wait, are you serious?
Yeah.
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah.
Remember what I said about the internet and flip-floppers at this time, and how strongly Bobby said he didn't like Shane Dawson's content? Imagine how that looks to your fan base when you go work for Shane Dawson. Bobby's fans saw this as Bobby selling out for the clout, trying to get rich, trying to get famous, and then Shane Dawson's fans just saw him as a person that was using Shane for his fame. So, as you can see, he didn't really make out well on either side of that situation. But now do you kind of understand what I meant at the beginning of the video? Shane Dawson 100% dug the grave for Bobby Burns. But Bobby Burns willingly went into that grave. He had to know exactly what he was getting into. I mean, there is a chance that he didn't. But you had to have thought this out ahead of time. Now, the hate that Bobby received was immense, and it actually caused him to have an identity crisis. Any content that Bobby Burns posted on Shane Dawson's channel, Shane's fans constantly reminded him of the fact that he was a hater leeching off of him for clout, which didn't go over well. And then anything that Bobby posted on his own personal channel was then also attacked because they were labeling him as a flip-flopper. Even when he went back to his old movie review content, no one liked it. And then there were still fans from Shane Dawson's channel that went over to Bobby's channel to then sprinkle some additional hate. He was in a lose-lose situation.
It's like they don't want you to go back to making movie stuff. Some people do. I don't get it.
Like, what
They
do
like,
they
they
actually
want
want
to
from
see you.
me?
From the views and the dislike ratios, it was very clear that Bobby's channel was on a steep decline. And Shane Dawson had the power to remediate the situation if he made a statement and tried his best to not mobilize his following. But you know, Shane Dawson did what Shane Dawson does best, which was completely distance himself from the situation. So if you guessed that he fired Bobby, you'd be right. Firing someone that moved to LA to work for you and taking away their main source of income with little to no warning, without trying to help them in any way, literally bankrupted Bobby. So like, congrats Shane, you did great. And because Bobby Burns ran the money that him and his girlfriend had saved up dry, his girlfriend dumped him. So he got kicked while he was down. I routinely think about this situation, and I just think about how much it would hurt if your main fan base isn't telling you what to upload and is constantly disliking your videos and is constantly unsubscribing from you. I know how much it hurts me when I get a negative comment. I mean, I'm a lot better at it now, but anyone that says they're 100% unbothered by a negative comment is lying. It might hurt you like 5%, maybe 2%, just a little sting, because the negativity bias is real. Whenever you remember comments that you get, those negative ones tend, I can't speak, ever, talking is hard, tend to stick out a lot more than those positive ones. The negativity bias is real, people. Bobby was definitely hurt. It was clear that between the hate that he was getting from his own fan base and between the hate that he was getting from Shane's fan base, he broke. And you might be curious as to how I know that he broke. Well, I point to his 2018 song release, the first time he's ever released a song ever. His debut single was titled Creep. And I'm surprised a lot of people on YouTube aren't really talking about it because it was blatantly a cry for help. After having me explain the situation that led up to this song, let's listen to the chorus.
Fucker, put a blade in his fucking throat. Ay, put it on, bitch. Yeah. Ay. Yeah.
Technically, there's a million different interpretations of this song and the lyrics in particular, but I think after understanding the story, it seems like he's tired of putting on the mask and pretending to be a different person for his audience. He wasn't able to make what he genuinely wanted to make because no matter what he made, he was met with a bunch of hate. And there's also the potential that the mask symbolizes him trying to hide the fact that he's in pain, having to pretend to be happy and unbothered on YouTube because no one likes watching a depressed person deliver a video. I mean, if I wanted to do that, I don't know what I was watching. I was gonna come up with a joke, but I couldn't think of one. And beyond the chorus, honestly, the song does not have much weight to it. Besides the fact that it's 2018 and you should be eating butt or something like that.
Booty like John cover magazine, we eating ass out here in March 2018.
But from that point on, marked the starting of a process of him losing 500,000 subscribers on YouTube. And honestly, today, he's still losing subscribers. And I wish more people paid attention to this guy because he made an album, or a visual album, called Famous Fentanyl. And you can only imagine what would be filled in there, and that was definitely another cry for some assistance. Bobby is a unique case. Now, if he ever decides to come back onto YouTube consistently, I think he deserves a revisit because most people have forgotten what has put him on this decline in the first place. Personally, nothing that he makes is really my cup of tea, but that doesn't mean that it's not a good fit for somebody out there. So if you're watching this video and you're into weird, go ahead and check him out. He has found a fan base that is loving and supporting him enough that they subscribe to his OnlyFans, even though his nudes leaked. That was the thing that happened. I literally made this whole video to pretty much say this was a memory that I had. I hope Bobby is doing okay, and I just want to warn people to treat people on the internet a little bit better. I think it's really easy to forget that there's another human on the end of the screen. And as much as Tyler, the creator, said how this cyberbullying exists, which I'll probably put up there. Yeah, I mean, when you're in a healthy mental state, it's very easy to just say, who's that person? Like, it doesn't matter, you're anonymous. But when you're in a situation where you're already a little lower, it's a lot harder to shake off some of that negative energy that's coming your way. So just be mindful of how you treat people on the internet. But yeah, that's all I have for you today. Be sure to do all that YouTube engagement stuff that all the YouTubers say. I don't have to say it. I know you know what to do. Yeah. Will Walks is out. Peace.